We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, but the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah.
And now, if you will please service.
When
Good evening, everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. Andrea Johnson, and on behalf of the congregation of Unitarian Universalist, UCW Board of Trustees, and the UUCW Settled Search Committee, and the Fellowship of Unitarian Universalist Ministers, I welcome you to this sacred and celebratory service of ordination and installation for my beloved friend and colleague, Jill Braithwaite. Before I call us all to worship, I have one housekeeping announcement. At the end of the service, please remain seated until your usher releases the row. This will help us with efficiently transforming the sanctuary into a dining space. Then please proceed out to the community room. Once the sanctuary change is complete, the dinner buffet line will open. Today we celebrate and affirm two callings: Jill's vocational call to ministry, which culminates in her ordination today, as well as UU Church West's call to its new settled minister, which culminates in welcoming Jill into that role at UUCW with warmth, gratitude, and joy. Jill's journey to ordination began at First Universalist Church in Minneapolis, where she brought her many gifts to bear, teaching religious education, bringing Wednesday night dinners and programming to life, and serving on the Board of Trustees, among many other gifts. These rich and fruitful experiences at First Universalist nurtured the seeds of Jill's call to ministry, a call that led to enrolling at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, where we met and became very fast friends. As we reflected together on beautiful and profound theologies over lunch, I came to deeply appreciate Jill's brilliant mind and her compassionate spirit, and I know you too will appreciate her sensitive insight and generous wisdom. Today, as we witness the lovely intersection of Jill's journey with UUCW's journey toward calling a new settled minister, let us celebrate and cherish Jill's gifted leadership and prophetic preaching, her spiritual depth and caring heart. As we connect with our deepest intuitions about what is ultimate and true, may we devote ourselves to living in right relationship with each other and the larger community. As we seek to discover where love is calling us next, the act of installation that we celebrate today affirms our intention to weave together these two journeys into a beautiful tapestry of shared ministry and reverent service. With love as our guide and joy in our hearts, come, let us bless this day. Let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting words come from Kim Mason. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transition lead into gold or life into death. We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy, turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action?
The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Come, let us be transformed together.
Good evening. I am the Reverend Karen Quinlan. No, I'm not. Wow. I am the Reverend Karen Armina. That's an old name. Whew. I respond to she, her pronouns, and I serve the James Reeb UU congregation in Madison. I am grateful and honored to be here with you today for this important and joyous occasion. What we're doing here this evening is indeed a coming together of several journeys. Jill's journey as a minister, your journeys as congregations, and the journey of our living tradition. We're here to recognize and honor Jill's gifts and calling and the completion of her formal formation process, her discernment, her education, her credentialing. The Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the UUA has granted fellowship to Jill, but in our free faith tradition, only congregations have the power to ordain a minister. And you all, the congregations of First Universalist and UU Church West, are coming together to ordain Jill, honoring her with the title of Reverend, affirming her authority to serve as minister. The people of First Universalist are bringing a phase of your relationship with Jill to an end. As an ordained minister, Jill will have a different kind of authority than she did as a lay member. And the people of UU Church West, who have called Jill as their settled minister, will install her in this role, affirming and formalizing her leadership to their shared ministry. These are not small things. This ordination is an act of faith or trust in Jill's call, and you're doing it on behalf of Unitarian Universalism. And this installation is an act of faith or trust in your shared ministry. These are covenantal acts, which mean that they're sacred promises and that they go both ways. Jill will be accountable to you and to our faith, promising to participate and lead in shared ministry in service of the love that holds us all. They're celebratory acts, too. Today is a joyful milestone in all of your journeys. And they're hopeful acts, ceremonies that you're sharing in the midst of a particularly hard time, acts of faith or trust that your shared ministry will make a difference in your lives and the lives of the people and the communities you serve and will serve together. May this gathering and the promises we will make to each other be a blessing to us all and a reminder that we have the love and the courage and the strength and the joy to keep engaging in holy alchemy and transformation.
Good afternoon. My name is Lauren Wyeth, and I bring greetings on behalf of your UUA and the Mid-America region. I'm honored to have been asked to give the invitation to generosity on this very joyous occasion. Today's collection will support the Living Tradition Fund. The Living Tradition Fund was established at General Assembly in 1988, along with the request that ordination and installation services held in our member societies would include an offering to the fund. And given that we've gathered for a service of ordination and installation, well, I suppose we're called to be doubly generous today. The Living Tradition Fund provides 3 types of support for ministry: need-based scholarships for theological students in aspirant or candidate status in the UUA credentialing program, grants to new ministers to reduce the burden of high educational debt, and emergency assistance grants to ministers and other religious professionals and congregational staff when the unexpected turns and tragedies of life happen. And they do. An expensive plane ticket may be out of reach when a retired minister longs to be at the bedside of a sibling hospitalized following a car accident. Thousands of dollars of out-of-pocket expenses follow on the heels of a religious educator's cancer diagnosis. Nearly everything must be replaced when the home that shelters a minister's young family burns. Long before today's concept of mutual aid, the Living Tradition Fund recognized that there need not be such a thing as individual hardship, that compassion and justice call us all into the giving and receiving of community care. I wonder how many of those present here today have received support from the Living Tradition Fund, and if you'd be willing to please raise a hand if you feel comfortable doing so. We don't know who will need what next. Your generosity means that funds will be ready and waiting to ease real financial burdens. Material support in the form of money is indeed a tremendous help and relief in such times. And your gift today will also be a spiritual balm and a blessing to an as yet unknown recipient who really needs it. So, in honor of both her ordination and the installation of our beloved Jill Braithwaite by Unitarian Universalist Church West, let us bring all the generosity we can collectively muster to our giving. Will the ushers please come forward?
Our reading today is based on 1 Corinthians. This is Love and Justice by Reverend Tess Baumberger. Love is kind with people, but impatient with injustice. Love is assertive and respectful. Love listens to the anger of those who experience oppression without responding, without defending, without interrupting, without explaining. It listens with compassion, seeking always to understand. Love is slow to anger, especially at the start or end of life and with anyone who the world discounts.
Yet anger can be a part of love. Consider the force with which parents defend their young. Love fears for those it loves for what it loves. When who or what it loves cannot defend itself, love rises to defend. When those it loves have the power of defense, it takes their lead with humility and courage. Love assists, empowers, and frees. Love's anger rises to meet injustice in considered ways that help correct it. Love is willing to examine itself, its thoughts, actions, and unmediated bias. It recognizes one's power to harm or to be part of systems of harm with or without awareness. But once aware, it can only intend to make amends, to right the wrongs, to change the systems that legislate hatred. Love is always willing to change, always to learn, always to heal. Love rejoices in truth and in equity. There is no limit to love's steady presence, or its holding us gently but insistently to what is right.
It is a deep joy and honor to be with you today. I'm the Reverend Lisa Friedman, and I had the privilege of serving as Jill's supervisor during her internship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Minnetonka in Minnesota. Jill, as I am here today, I hope that you can hear the applause and feel the big love of UUCM all around you on this day. Whenever and wherever we commit ourselves to love and be loved, to serve and be served, to give and receive an ongoing, evolving, transforming relationship, we answer love's call. I will forever remember a Valentine's Day during my very first years of ministry, when I was home preparing for a romantic evening with my spouse. The fire was blazing, the wine was chilled, the couch had been moved closer to the warmth of the hearth. We were about to sit down when the telephone rang. It was the moderator of the church, choking back tears to tell me that the 33-year-old son of a beloved member had died unexpectedly. With that call, everything changed. And as I drove to minister to this father and family, I searched my heart for the right words to say, only to discover as we cried together that no words could ever be adequate. There was only a presence to offer, a willingness to sit side by side in the pain and grief, a resolve to lift up love's enduring power as the stories and the tears flowed on. To become a minister is to commit to answering love's call with the congregations and the communities we are privileged to serve through this ministry that we share. We know this intellectually as we prepare ourselves in theological school, but it is not until we take our ordination vows at long last and embark upon our first ministries that we fully come to understand the meaning of those vows and what they will require of us in the days to come. We are asked to bear honorable witness to birth and death and all that lies in between. But I did not know, I could not have known that I would be called to serve this particular moment This loving Father, this beloved Son, this grieving family or the heartbroken congregation who wrap them up in a strong and fierce embrace. None of us can ever fully know how answering love's call will change us, on the outside or within. Years later, there is not a Valentine's Day that passes without a silent prayer for that father whose congregation I no longer serve. And each time I see a Japanese maple tree like the one we planted in Michael's honor, I'm reminded of the precious beauty and fragility of this life and of just how much we need one another. What I'd like to suggest to you this evening is that the choice to love and to serve out of that love is not just a vital dimension of life and ministry, but the radical call of Unitarian Universalism itself. When we wonder how, or even if, love is calling to us today, we can hear, if we listen, the whispers and wisdom of our ancestors, especially on this All Souls Day. But I'm not only talking about the most famous or the most renowned among them, as much as we still need Emerson's radical invitation to see the sacred all around us and outside those windows, or King John Sigismund's trust in religious freedom and tolerance, Theodore Parker's prophetic passion against racism, or Abigail Adams and Judith Sargent Murray's charge to remember the ladies and the equality of us all. But the truth is, there are many other teachers, known and unknown to us, who have something to offer about how to answer love's call as ordinary, faithful people in extraordinary times. When John Brown sat in his jail cell, awaiting execution after the raid on Harper's Ferry, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper wrote letters to him in solace and sympathy and solidarity, to assure him that his fate would not be a vain lesson on the path to freedom. When the African American families in his 19th century parish could not access education for their children, the Reverend Joseph Jordan built them a Universalist day school that would go on to serve thousands of children and families in Eastern Virginia for the next century. When Angela Shea, the daughter of Norwegian immigrants, took a job as a low-paid attendant at a Minnesota state hospital in the 1940s, she was appalled by the conditions and the treatment of the people that they served. With absolutely no previous organizing experience, she went to the annual meeting of her own Midwest Unitarians, and she rallied them for advocacy and change. At the heart, at the center of our creedless and committed faith is the call to choose life, to choose love, to reach for freedom and justice wherever it may lead us, however it might transform us, no matter what the journey may require. And if this is indeed the faith that we share, the foundation upon which we build, then it is vital that we remember we are not alone in it. Our congregations are the spiritual communities where we help one another to discern and answer that call. One of the most memorable moments of Jill's ministry in her time with us at UUCM began with the idea of inviting the whole congregation to answer a simple question: what does love mean to you? Now, some people might have decided to collect those answers through an email survey, or a clipboard, an old-fashioned clipboard during coffee hour. But if you know Jill, then you know that her big Universalist heart is filled with joy and enthusiasm that is contagious, and a creativity that thinks large. So I arrived at church one morning to find Jill building a huge wall of love over the entire door of the sanctuary. And it quickly became filled over the following weeks. Congregants of all ages posted their answers, one colorful heart at a time. You know this wall. They told us, one by one, love is trust, acceptance, an open heart. Love is the beetle, bird, bud, and buffalo. Love is not a noun, it is an action verb. Love is taking care and taking care of people. Love is uncontrollable, unconditional. Love is love. It means everything. Love will not stop. In many ways, it became a visible vision and foundation of our shared ministry that year. Love didn't stop. It sang with us on the bus to the state capitol to advocate for affordable housing vouchers. It listened carefully with us when feelings were hurt and relationships needed repair. It laughed with us at poetry and game nights, around campfires and in Zoom meetings. It challenged us to take risks, to reimagine what ministry and Unitarian Universalism might need in the future. But most importantly, it was a gentle and encouraging presence in our moments of greatest uncertainty and of doubt. Whether we were wrestling with how to effectively respond to pop-out white nationalist displays over our local highways, or how to humbly accompany a refugee family finally reunited with their children after years of separation at the border, or whether we were simply trying not to give in to those temptations of cynicism and despair. When the time finally came, I found myself actually reluctant to take down the wall and all of its colorful proclamations, because even knowing its power and potential, the how and the where and the why of answering love's call, it's not always easy. It's not always as clear as we would like it to be. Universalist minister and activist Augusta Jane Chapin observes, "We have all of us the same supreme necessities, the same great problem and infinity of love. And sometimes I think we are simply too brokenhearted or tired or just not ready to answer. Sometimes we are risk-averse and afraid of the change and commitment it may ask of us. At other times, despite all of our longing, all of our listening, the call is drowned out in the noise and confusion of the world. When the work of love is hard, it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with us. It simply means that we are still lifelong learners in the task of growing a soul and building beloved community." Jill, as we celebrate your ordination and installation tonight, I want to honor that your journey to big love and big joy was not a direct path. In answering love's call to the ordained ministry, you encountered some no's, some maybes, some not yets along the way, deep within your heart. And then you made the bold choice to choose ministry in the middle of the pandemic. You found your big yes in that exact moment when everything we ever thought that we knew about the world and church and community changed forever. And the future of parish ministry was uncertain at best. But perhaps we shouldn't be surprised, even as we are profoundly grateful that you found your way to that yes. Extraordinary times bring clarity. They return us to what matters most. And when has the world needed bold and big love more? You chose to answer the call not only for yourself, but to invite others to find their own clarity and to join you in the sacred work of hope and possibility. As you embark upon your journey of ministry through all the joys and sorrows, adventures and transformations that lie before you and this wonderful congregation, keep leading us. Keep leading us to answer love's call to a deeper humanity and a more just and liberated world. In our tradition, the ordination sermon is not for the ordinand alone. It is for all of us as we consider the state of our faith and our world and what our shared ministry can offer the future. On the cusp of this election week, with the world divided and at war, we know deep in our hearts that extraordinary times are still with us. So on this day of celebration, let us commit to rise to them anew with all of our courage and our strength. What clarity is emerging in your life right now? What is the holy alchemy of community and connection, solidarity and action that is uniquely yours to transform? What will you allow love to offer you and require of you in the days ahead? I promise you, you will not be alone in that struggle or in that hope. You belong to a tradition that is grounded in the prophethood and priesthood of all believers, that trusts the power and resilience of our beautiful and imperfect humanity. There is ministry right before you, ready to be taken up and shared within, among, and beyond you, and with a wonderful new minister by your side. Keep loving boldly, build wisely, hold forth that saving vision of what our world can yet become, and give thanks for the journey of life and love that we are blessed to share on this day and always. So may it be.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here and we rise. tears and with courage. Rise! Fighting for life, we rise! In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.
Today, in the tradition of our free church, we who are gathered here have the honor and duty of adding Jill Braithwaite to the lineage of clergy that reaches far back in time and far forward into the future. The act of ordination bestows the authority of religious leadership, the title of reverend, and the privilege to wear a stole and bear the responsibilities of that mantle.
In our living tradition of Unitarian Universalism, the authority to confer ordination lies solely with our individual congregations. To ordain a minister is a deep joy, a significant responsibility, and a unique privilege. Ordination is an external sign that a minister's inner sense of call is recognized and affirmed by the particular congregation on behalf of the wider faith.
Jill, you have prepared yourself with deep contemplation, study, and experience that have equipped you for this vocation. Today, we confirm your calling to religious service and leadership as your life's work.
You have shared your gifts with our congregations and received the recommendation of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of our Unitarian Universalist Association.
Are you prepared to embark formally and fully upon the path of ordained ministry?
I am.
As the church where Jill recognized her call to ministry, the members of our congregation have voted to ordain Jill Braithwaite. Will the members of First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, including those attending virtually, now rise in body and spirit?
As the church that has freely voted to call Jill to be our settled minister, the members of our congregation have voted to ordain Jill Braithwaite. Will the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church West, including those attending virtually, please now rise in body or in spirit?
We now invite all members of First Universalists and UUCW to speak the words of ordination, which are printed in your order of service. We, the members of First Universalist Church and Unitarian Universalist Church West, do hereby ordain you, Jill Braithwaite,
into the Unitarian Universalist ministry. May you live and serve courageously and joyfully. May you minister through our joys and sorrows, seek compassion and justice, and speak the truth in freedom and love.
With deep gratitude and tremendous joy, I accept and wholeheartedly embrace the ministry to which you ordain me. I pledge to serve our ministry and the greater good to the best of my ability, with courage, generosity, and compassion.
Will those of you not already standing who wish to add their love and encouragement, please rise in body and spirit to affirm this ordination. We affirm your ordination as the Reverend Jill Braithwaite. May your ministry nourish and sustain you and those you serve.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeannie Baker, a member of the Board of Trustees. Jill, on the occasion of your ordination, it is my honor to provide you, on behalf of all of us in the Board of Trustees, with this stole created by Susan Endis. Pardon me, I'm taking it out, right? Yeah.
Reverend Jill, I felt honored to make that stole for you. I was inspired by your concept of connection of your heart with the flaming chalice, our symbol of UU faith. May you wear it in good health.
Hey, Jill. How you doing? Why don't you have a seat? Friends, loved ones, we've said a lot of words. It's time to get it into the body, because we are a people of heads and heart. We are a people with bodies. So now we're going to perform an embodied act representing the ordination that we just spoke. So we're going to feel, we're going to lay on hands, we're going to send our energy to Jill. I'm going to invite you all to come up in a series of concentric circles. It's not going to be perfect. That's okay. You have bodies. You're going to find a way to fit them into the space, and it will all work out just fine. So before we begin, let's all take a deep breath together. In our first circle, I'd like to invite Jill's friends and family to come up and form a circle around her. Please rise, come forward, put a hand on Jill's shoulder or her arm or her back. If you can't find a place, touch somebody else's shoulder who's touching Jill's shoulder. You guys are doing great. Good work. Okay. Everyone, you see what they've done here. We're going to build on that. Okay? So our next ring of people is Jill's colleagues. If you are one of Jill's colleagues, please come forth. All the colleagues, rise, find a shoulder, find an arm, find a small of the back. You guys are doing great. Dear ones, we're about to get into the thick of it. Now I'm going to invite all of the members of the ordaining congregations. First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, please come up, the place where Jill heard her call to ministry. First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, and all the members of UU Church West. This is the thick of it. Rise and come forth. Find a shoulder, find a hand, find a back. Touch someone who's touching Jill. Y'all got this. All right, as the rest of UU Church West is coming forward, ring number 4, everyone, come forward, find a shoulder, find a back, find a hand to hold. Here we are, the embodied community. Send forth your love and care to Jill. Confer upon her the authority of minister. Send her your trust. Send her your hopes. Send her your joy. Affirm in the body this ministry upon which you embark. Hold space for patience. Imagine collaborative connection. We are a people. And take one more big breath in together. And with the out breath, send forth that love and care and connection. Amen. Gently, gently find your seats.
What a joy. What a joy to be a part of this moment together. To recognize this turning, this threshold. It's been a joy to watch your transformation over the years. And now you are a colleague Reverend Jill Braithwaite. Whew. Today is a day of celebration, absolutely. And today is a day of alchemy and transformation, too. All that you've done to prepare for this moment has brought you here. The love of all of these people and all those who have come before have helped you to meet and cross this threshold. And now, here's the trick of it. You start again. Now you begin to learn how to carry this mantle of ministry. You learn how to inhabit this role, this identity, this calling in new ways. And in just the briefest amount of time possible, I will tell you the 3 important things I think you need to know about how to carry this ministry that you are embarking on. One comes from my mentor, the Rob Eller Isaacs. You cannot give what you haven't got. Your spiritual health, your spiritual practice, your spiritual depth, your web of connection and support, all of those things, your joy, your love, your relationships will be the well from which you draw in ministry. You simply cannot give what you haven't got. At least not for very long. So you've got to fill that well with spiritual practice, with relationship, with connection, with middle of the week, midday movies, with walks with your dog, with good food, with being outside, with all the things that fuel your spirit. Movies, for sure. The worst movies. Second, from the Reverend Jan Eller Isaacs, you are exactly enough and you are never enough. You are exactly enough. Everything you bring into all those situations you can never anticipate. Your instincts are good. Your heart is solid and clear. You will bring love and clarity and strength into all those moments. You are enough. And alone, you are never enough. None of us are. We have to make room for the spirit that moves between us, for the unexpected, for the alchemy that will absolutely happen. Alone, we are never enough. And then this one from me. It's all about love. It's all about love. Your love for the people is the foundation of any good ministry. Even if you don't know the people yet, even if the people are ever changing, even if the people do things that aren't awesome sometimes, love of the people is the foundation of what you will have to offer. There's an image that the Reverend Howard Thurman uses that he takes from Jesus. So, we're going back to the old school. And he has this image of a love that draws us into the fullest possibility of our being. A love that holds a crown above our heads that we are forever striving to grow into. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. Bringing that to yourself, to the people, to the world. We will help you learn how to carry this mantle together.
Another one. All right, we have something else to do this evening. All right. So I am Natalie Fleury, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees, and I was also a member of the Settled Ministry team. All right. So we also gather this day to install Reverend Jill Braithwaite as minister of Unitarian Universalist Church West. The act of installation affirms the bond between the members of the congregation and their minister. With today's act of installation, we covenant to support each other in shared ministry through the work ahead. Will the members of Unitarian Universalist Church West please rise in body and/or spirit and say with me the words from the order of service so that together we may affirm our call to Jill and her acceptance of it. We, the members of Unitarian Universalist Church West, hereby install you, the Reverend Jill Braithwaite, as minister of this church. For our part, we covenant to journey with you, with the cooperation of our hearts and hands and our gladness and goodwill, as you take up your ministry among us. We would have you speak freely, act courageously, draw wide the circle of welcome, and live into our shared hope for the world.
In covenant with this congregation, in support of its people, its traditions, and its aspirations, I will journey in shared ministry with you, with gratitude, humility, and joy, and with love as my guide, I take up this ministry.
Will all who have not yet risen, colleagues and friends, please rise in body and/or spirit to speak the words in your order of service and bear witness to this act of installation. We do hereby affirm this installation and this ministry. We rejoice with you on this occasion and offer you our continued friendship and support.
On behalf of the board and the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church West, it is our great pleasure to present this stole to the Reverend Jill Braithwaite on her installation as our minister. Just as each individual has many sides to their personality, this stole has two different sides. The French braid is symbolic of the intertwining of our many different paths that led each of us to this wonderful community. The other side has our mission statement, which ignited the spark in Jill's decision to come to Unitarian Universalist Church West. Welcome, Reverend Jill.
On the installation and the ordination of your new minister, Jill Braithwaite. 7 years ago here as your intern minister, and that formation paved a way for me to now serve as the Minister of Religious Education at the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I am forever grateful for the time I spent here with you. While I was here, I had the good fortune to be in relationship with many of you here today, here at UUCW, which is perhaps why Reverend Jill requested that I give you the charge today, the Congregation of Unitarian Universalist Church West. During my years here, I was privileged to thoroughly explore your history and get to know some of the founders of this church. The formidable Archive Committee of 2017, they shared their stories about a lifetime of experiences, and they embraced me and my seminary church history project with open arms. Sitting down with Anne Terwilliger, delving into those remarkable archival scrapbooks created by Lilo Sewell, allows one to be transported in time through photos and newspaper clippings and programs. It became part of my history, and it shaped my understanding of Unitarian Universalism here in Wisconsin. The small stories illuminating the larger purpose of our shared good work in the world. Your journey begins with the need to grow our liberal faith into the conservative-leaning west suburbs of Milwaukee. You were one of the first satellite ministries in our faith. You used high-tech speaker telephone wire to broadcast sermons into the YMCA. And just a few years later, you installed your first minister, Reverend Chris Rabel, in a snowstorm with the first UUA president in attendance, Reverend Dana Greeley. You always found a way to be together. At other times, UUCW found a way to support the next generation, at first holding RE classes in congregants' homes, and then Joan and Carol Lou sourcing RE furniture from MPS. Or Helen's Earthlings began one of the first recycling programs right here in your parking lot. UCW, you have been challenged. You have stood by your values. You have persevered. You defended your right to provide comprehensive sexual education when the DA brought suit against you in 1971. And you provided a safe place for Drag Queen Story Hour in 2019. In 1967, UCW hosted Father Groppi and the NAACP youth on their march to Madison. In 1983, UCW started the Tosa Community Food Pantry. And in 2016, UCW declared that Black Lives Matter right here on West North Avenue. These are powerful echoes from your past that show you how you have served by representing what is most important in this community. To know where you have been helps clarify how you came to be, who you are, and develops the ability to avoid mistakes and create better paths for your future. UUCW, you know how to share your enthusiasm for expressing our UU values in the world and supporting each other's interests. You are a brave, loving, tenacious, creative people who worship well together and move toward action wholeheartedly. I just know instinctively that you will communicate your enthusiasm to shape a shared ministry with Reverend Jill as your new minister. UCW, you were also at your best when your time and your energy is directed. When you move purposely together, grounded in love. You excel when you understand in your bones why something needs to be done and how to use your resources. Reflected in your history is a lesson of viability and purpose. As UUs, we are so often so passionate about so much in the world that needs to be done, cared for, fixed, tended to, and we move in so many ways, too many directions sometimes, to realize the intentions we hope and long for. Our love is infinite, but our energy and our resources, they are finite. We must learn to trust that with open hearts and minds, that our chosen paths will bring us the scope of wisdom that is most needed for an intentional journey towards a just and loving world. Therefore, I charge you, Unitarian Universalist Church West, to focus on being a sustainable force of love guided by clarity and purpose. May you trust and empower your leaders to guide you in your intention to continue creating a remarkable shared ministry of love that takes action in this world, in this remarkable part of Wisconsin that needs your centered, focused care. Blessed be, and amen.
Good evening. I am the Reverend Marilyn Miller, and I too welcome the cloud of witnesses among us. We honor and respect our Indigenous siblings who are celebrating their heritage, their legacy this month, and so we welcome the great spirits. And we also welcome all of our ancestors who paved the way for us to be here today. Please join me in prayer. O Holy One, whom we call by many names and know in many ways, we come with grateful, hopeful, and humble hearts. And so we begin with thanks. Thank you for your love, grace, and mercies that you have poured into the life of Pastor Jill and UUC West. All of the faith and universal journeys represented here today, and those who are not here today. We are grateful for the work you require of us to live into the words of Micah 6:8, to do justice, love kindness, and to walk humbly with you. As we do this work from an interfaith context, give us your holy wisdom and insight as we learn from one another to talk the talk and walk the walk in new and different and deeper ways. O great Spirit, we ask you to work on our minds and hearts. Help us to replace the misinformation we have learned and carried about each other, and to fill in the missing information that we don't know about your multiple truths. Replace the lies we have learned. Sharpen off our biases and prejudices we have about one another. Give us the willingness and ability to listen and learn anew. Where we have become hard, soften our hearts. Where we have become cynical, help us to see that all of us are limited in what we know and understand, and that people are doing the best they can and don't know what they don't know. That is why we must extend and open ourselves to one another and others to learn about that which we don't know or understand. O great Spirit, give us the spirit of curiosity that urges us to seek out opportunities to come together and to get to know those who are on different but equal journeys. Help us to be humble as we interact with one another. Help us to be kind to all, even those we don't agree with or who think very differently from us. Help us to stay in love with the holy and all of creation, for we are all created in your holy image and carry your DNA of love. As we do our interfaith work together, help us to remember these words from a treasured poet, Gwendolyn Brooks, who said, "We are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. So let us hold each other with care, respect, equity, and peace as we walk the road together, paving the way for the 7 generations to come." Ashe, Amen, and Shalom. So, we invite you to rise in body or spirit, and we're going to sing. Come sing a song with me.
The right hand of fellowship is a welcoming into a wider collegial circle. It's acknowledging that the work of ministry succeeds and thrives because of collegial support. Yes, colleagues? Yes. It's hard, it is lonely. It makes you question everything at times. Yes, colleagues? Yes. You will say regularly, "I didn't learn that in seminary." And in those moments, this wider collegial circle will hold you. These are the people who will be your ministers when you need it. These are the people who will hold you accountable. They will share in the joys of your successes and provide thoughtful yet direct feedback. Yes, colleagues? The ways that colleagues support each other is often unseen by congregations, but you know that amazing story you might have heard at a time for all ages, or that reading that hit right at your heart, or that ritual you did in worship that had you weeping. Chances are it has been shared among colleagues. Our ministries are better because of being connected. Yes? We make each other better ministers in so many ways. And within the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association, we are held by a covenant of care and accountability that centers love. May you remember this when you need it. When I asked Reverend Jill to send me a list of the colleagues who had been part of her formation, to name that list here, she sent me no less than 20 names. This shows how connected you are already. How deeply held you are within our collegial networks. And while, don't worry, I'm not going to name all those names here tonight. I know our stomachs are rumbling. I'm here representing these colleagues to welcome you, and I'm here to say, welcome, colleague. Welcome with so much joy, so much heart, and so much hope. I give you this right-handed fellowship, this collegial welcoming, this acknowledgement that you are worthy, you are enough, and you are welcome within this circle just as you are. In the way that this large number of 20-plus colleagues have welcomed you and nurtured you and supported your ministry, may you do that for colleagues as well. May you say yes to them when they ask for support, like saying yes to volunteer positions in district leadership when you're ready. No pressure. And may you say yes to ministering to colleagues when life shows them its worst. This is a gift we give to each other, and so welcome, Reverend Jill. We are so glad that you answered your call to ministry, and we support you in this shared ministry that you are embarking on with these beloved souls. Amen.
Friends, may our days be blessed with beauty and joy. May our work be about justice and flourishing for all. And in this great shared journey of ours, may love be our guide. May it be so, and amen. Now let's dance.
All they talk about is what is going down. butterflies don't just speak. Stop and smell the flowers and lose it in sweet music and dance with me, 'cause there is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty, give a twirl, oh there's beauty in the world. Take your diamond, pick your pearl, there is beauty in the world. Throw your hands up and holler, hey, hey, hey. Throw your hands up and holler when you don't know what to do, don't know if you'll make it through. Remember what is beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty in the world, oh there's beauty in the world. Take your diamond, pick your pearl, there is beauty in the world. Hey baby, I'm looking at you now. I know the fact is true now. There's love, there's hope for us, and there's beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your beauty, give a twirl, for the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world, there is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your beauty, give a twirl, for there's beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world, there is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your beauty, give a twirl, for there's beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world.